Hey guys, welcome to Sopi Studio Umbiamas, conectando Aruba com o mundo via vídeo podcasting. Conectar conosco, compartilhar ideias e histórias para nos inspirar e para conang abrir. Sopi Studio é plataforma de podcast na Aruba. Follow-nos riba Facebook, subscribe riba YouTube ou riba plataforma de podcast preferido. Escute o podcast preferido que hora e onde que tá. Sopi Studio, powered by Credits, botiu ideia? Credits educava e prepara abo para vir um empresário exitoso. De business plan, guia personal e préstamo para negócio até com 100 mil florim. Bira bom mês donho com Credits. Sopi, passa na Sopi para o sop, salada, wrap ou flatbread e mais fresco. Com 7 localidades rond Aruba, nós está cerca de Ibo. Sopi. Swing Masters, organizando events, conferences of weddings, Mister de luz, sound, staging, DJ, trussing of flat screen, Swing Masters está claro para ser boa fiesta éxito. Swing Masters. E agora, Sopi Studio é plataforma de podcast de Aruba, está apresentar.
Hi, welcome to Sincerely Carolina. Thank you so much for tuning in. Are you excited? Are you ready to get motivated, educated, and hopefully have some changes in your daily life? Well, you are at the right place. I am Carolina. I will be your host of this podcast. And this podcast is available thanks to our amazing sponsors.
Lindy Boutique, Proframe, always Gelatissimo, Paper Sisters, and Aveeno.
Thank you so much. Hello, bong simang. Mita espera ko bo simang toto bong despite interferences the nos wonderful first world country problems. This is Sincerely Carolina. Awit di Bestia, mita espera ko bo Carol bo little pets nang si Batini. But atong tiki mas respectful na Bestia na riba kaya awe. Hopefully bo na mata man yung fruminga awe. At least awe. No, I'm just kidding. Of no, maybe not. Awe mi tiki nang ku three awesome ladies. Ko ta si Hopi trabaho riba eramo di Bestia nang na Aruba. Inos ba papi tiki DSA. Pero, para nos ba inang may karabisa Hopi danki na Sopi Studio pa make a podcast aki possible, pa make awe possible no sa life, mino ba ni kere, ban spera ko no sa stay life. I Hopi danki na credits na Subway i Swing Masters pa Haci Studio aki possible. I of course na mi awesome sponsors nang ko ta kere din Sincerely Carolina, meeting Lindy Boutique, Proframe, Aveeno, Gelatissimo, Paper Sisters. Jeff, help me out. May sako malapit akong hand. Who? Always! Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Ana Maria. Thank you so much. Den serio, nos hopi contento para ta live talk awe. Tong topic ko tiki importante, nos vai papin tiki turcos. Please, if you questions nang, ya ko nos porta live riba Facebook so. WhatsApp aí não tá trabajando. Comment pa questions. E nos tem two very nice giveaways awe di nos awesome sponsors. Nos tem sunscreen para vai have fun in the sun kuba pets nang di Aveeno. E nos tem di cute boxes nang di Amor Proprio di Paper Sisters. Alright. So, mita ba laga po so introduce po so Miss Natalie, mita comienza kubo? Oh, nos vai papel English awe, okay? Yes. By the way.
The switch over to English.
Go ahead.
Carolina, mas danke per invitação. Die mes ribe dia special awe, 4 de oktober, dia mundial di Bestia. Die mes un topico importante para mim. Mi sempre met de willing papapi over die zee. Mijn naam is Natalie Booi, met de Veterinario na Animal Care Clinic na Paradera. Anto, ja, awe, kubo aqui na de studio para nos Haci charla importante, met spera.
Yes. Hopi danki. You know what? Nos nada bem roboso so, anto kiko turno 5 Haci pata perfect pet parents. Pero nos vai papin tiki tampe di general knowledge. Anto even si bonot pet parent, kiko nos pa Haci Aruba, better animal loving country. Alright, so nos vai pasa over pa Dayenne.
Boa noite, meu nome é Dayenne Howelrda. Mita Abogado, but I'm also one of the volunteers of Sgt. Pepper's Friends, one of the animal rescue foundations on the island. I want to thank you, Carolina, for inviting us. It's a special day for us. I think we can say it's Animal Day for us every day of the year.
Yes.
But it's good to focus especially on the pets for one day a year.
Right? It is. It is important. All right, so we are moving on to Jacqueline.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Jacqueline Boderie from Creole Trappers. I'm not so good in talking, so I think I leave it by this.
No problem, Jacqueline. And I will let you know when it's a question specifically for you, okay? All right. So can we talk about today? So it's not just like a commercial day, right? We have a lot of commercial days to celebrate different celebrations, but World Animal Day was actually founded as an awareness day. Why do we need this day? And I'm looking at you, Natalie, because this is obviously your line of work. So hopefully you can tell us a little bit of why do we need an awareness day for animals?
I think because still there are a lot of animals that need our help. Obviously, animals cannot speak for themselves. So we as people have this special responsibility. And I think often we take animals for granted. Even our own pets sometimes, when we're busy in our family life, things change. And then, they can talk. They can, but we don't always understand them.
Yes.
And I think that's why it's very important to realize that even if it's for one day, we are aware of the needs they have and the responsibility we have as people to take good care of them. Mahatma Gandhi has a very nice saying. He says the moral standard and also its progress in a country can be measured by the way its animals are treated. And actually not only their animals, but also the prisoners. And there's like a group that cannot really stand up for themselves, but animals especially. And I think this is something very important in a lot of countries. Even in Holland, there are a lot of cats on the streets, for instance, or pets in animal shelters or in the States. So I don't want to have people think that Aruba is like unique in this way. But still, we have a way to go. Things have improved a lot. I've been working almost 15 years on Aruba now, and I do see a change, and I'm very grateful for it. But I still think that, especially today, but every day, and that's a big part of my work, is talking, communicating, and awareness, education is very important. And even if it's one official day that everywhere around the world people think about this especially, I think it's very important.
Indeed, and I think you said some very important things, right? Communication is very important. So yes, awareness, right? On this day, rights, animal rights. I was reading that on this day, a lot of legislation is pushed, a lot of campaigns are pushed to really, commemorate the fact that it was something that was necessary because we have this entitlement feeling, right, that because we're humans and we are like the most advanced creature or whatever, that we kind of decide what happens with other creatures in the world. But it turns out that we have to stand still and realize to what extent we are just looking out just for ourselves and not the whole world. So I think it's important that we have this day, indeed.
Well, we're part of a bigger picture, and that's what we see also with nature and with all the environmental issues we have right now. It's for a long time we thought we're here and we're like the sole ruler.
Yep.
But it's very important to be in balance, and balance means having respect for one another as people, as humans, because even that is sometimes very hard lately. But especially for the ones that cannot speak for themselves. And those are children, those are also animals, yeah.
So I hear that WhatsApp is back on.
Okay.
So if you have questions and that you want to send them privately, you can do so. If you have my number, I'm not going to share my number just randomly, but if you do, you can send me questions. All right, so we have issues that are worldwide, but then we also have particular issues for Aruba. So I'm looking at Jacqueline and at Dayenne because we have a big issue with stray dogs and cats mostly. And thank goodness to groups like yours that we have, some, I don't want to say like a solution because it's not necessarily a solution, but alleviation of the problem, you know, where you're trying to find short-term solutions, but we need to work on the long term. But before we go into that, Jacqueline, can you explain a little bit about Creole Trappers? I think it's an amazing project. A lot of people don't know about Creole Trappers, so can you maybe shortly explain what you guys do? You know, what's the goal?
Our main goal is less dogs on the street.
Okay.
Less babies being born.
Okay.
So for that, we catch dogs or cats that are not easy to pick up, because otherwise we are a taxi. But we catch them and then we bring them to the vets, have them operated and put back in the street.
Okay.
Sometimes we help poor people or people who just ask for strays in the neighborhood. We go there and catch them
As well. Okay.
yeah, and we now focus on the females because we know for sure they get them. Some people say focus on the male, but if you forget one, then he can still impregnate all the females that are there. So we try to put our money in the females.
Okay.
For now, if we have more money, we will do the boys too.
Yes. And that's keyword, right? That's funding, because this project is not doable without proper funding.
No, we would be nowhere without people helping us.
Okay. All right. So you guys pick them up, spay and neuter them.
Give
and
them something against ticks and...
Okay, good.
What do you call those?
Worms.
Heartworms.
Parasite,
Yeah.
All of those.
Yes,
Yes.
you deworm them.
Yeah,
Okay.
we deworm them.
Okay.
At least 1 month without itch.
That's
More
nice.
we can do.
Yes, no, I totally understand. But it's a good project, and I think that it helps, you know. I mean, yes, the dogs will go back to where they were, but at least they won't reproduce.
Yeah, that's
And
our main goal.
yes, and I think that's an awesome goal. Dayenne, can you explain about Sgt. Pepper's? Sgt. Pepper's is very popular, and I do not like being devil's advocate, but sometimes I am. But I also hear, you know, sometimes people give comments and they're like, oh, but it's so complicated to get a dog from Sgt. Pepper's. But I have volunteered with you guys a couple times, you know, with children, either from my camp or one of the other organizations, and I have really learned to understand the importance of having a strict structure. Can you explain a little bit about that, why it's important to have that structure so that, you know, hopefully people can appreciate it a little bit more?
I think in our case, because we've grown a lot since we started, that we kind of work with a system. And if you have so many animals, as we usually do, thanks to Jacqueline, no, we really have to have a structure. So we have 2 people who are, you could almost call them adoption coordinators.
Okay.
Yvette and Brenda, we have separate email addresses for both adoptions, for information, for transport. So I think when you're talking about 200 animals, you have to have a structure. So if somebody wants to adopt from us, either if it's locally from Aruba, if it's from the US or Canada or the Netherlands, they have to fill in an application form. So we work a little bit different than, for example, the animal shelter, where you could walk in and go out with a dog or a cat. So that's not how we work. We try to learn more about the people. If it's a local adoption, we really go and visit the house or have them come visit us. And that's the way we work, and it works really well because we have about between 70 and 100 animals traveling each month, and then we have a few local adoptions every month as well. So we're very thankful that there's people overseas wanting to adopt our rescues.
Yes.
Because as Jacqueline said, that what the trappers mostly do, and I think that's why we work together so well, and not everybody realized that, but most of the volunteers from the trappers hang out at Sgt. Pepper's like many times a week. That what happens when the ladies go in the street, they have the goal to go, for example, for a female that is being followed around by male dogs. But often they find a mom and small puppies, or 2 younger puppies, or a mom with small babies who can't be separated yet. And then it's usually the moment where we come into place.
Okay.
So since we work together with the trappers, almost none of the times people from Sgt. Pepper's go out on a rescue. So mostly the trappers do the rescue, and then the mom and the puppies, like today. 2 of the trappers went to look at the mom and the puppies, but they were in the bushes, in the kanuku, like we say, and the girls were amazed that the puppies were still alive, because it has been raining so much, and they were all in the bushes. So long story short, they picked them up and they were standing at Sgt. Pepper. So we were able to make a space for them. They cleaned the whole area themselves, and now they're safe with us. So I think that's maybe good for people to know too. And I think one important thing that for Jacqueline and the trappers, that people shouldn't forget that most of the animals that either one of us operates or also all the other foundations, most of the animals are owned.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they're most of the time, so they're all, like, especially what you guys do at Natalie at Animal Care Clinic, all the animals are registered on an address. And that's because they usually belong to a street or 2 houses or a house. And
it's also something I really wanted to mention, because a lot of people don't realize. Driving here, I saw like 3-4 strays. We call them strays because they roam the street. But actually, if we look literally, they're not strays because they are owned. 80% of the dogs that are on the street in Aruba have an owner.
Oh my gosh.
80%. So if all those owners would keep their dogs inside and operate them and be responsible pet owners, then we would already like have 80% of the problem. We would have a solution for it.
Yes.
So a lot of people think that Creole Trappers just goes around and traps, like, you know, stray dogs that don't have an owner, that are like wild dogs. No, most of them, they live in a house or near a house or in a street, and people take care of them, and they say, no, I'm not the owner, but they are the owner, because
It's
as soon as
registered.
you feed a dog like a year or a few months, and you care for him, and then that pet becomes your pet. So I think it's a very important point.
Well, that is interesting indeed. I mean, and we have that on our street. We have a dog, and we call him Doggo. We don't know his real name, but we call him Doggo. And it's ironic because I mean, I know who his owners are, and I have, tried speaking to them, and, we are, and if you have been following me for a while, either on my show or on my social medias, our dogs are like our children, basically. So I have a really hard time understanding how, right? So what we do is when we go grocery shopping and we get like the weekly treats for our dogs, we also buy like a separate bag for Doggo. And every day, we come home, he comes to like the door, and our cat hates Doggo. Like, she will like shoo him from the house because she feels like he's eating our food. But then you see that where it's like it's technically their dog as long as it doesn't have any problems, because then when it has a problem, then it's like, no. And this is an issue, and I don't know if he's like operator or not,
You can see that if it's a he, it's not that.
Oh, right.
Something's hanging somewhere.
I haven't checked.
You're going to check it
No.
tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to, as soon as I leave for work tomorrow morning, I'm going to be like, Doggo, let me check Doggo. Because we do have other, like, dogs roaming around. And again, I don't know if they're stray dogs or if they're just
Also
dogs
part of-
roaming.
Yeah.
Right, part of houses. But, so, of course, that's an issue because we have an overpopulation of dogs and cats because of that. But also, they foster diseases because they're hanging out with each other and they're not being taken care properly. And some of these diseases transfer to humans as well. And I don't think we think about that too much. Even if you're trying to be like a little selfish and wonder how that issue impacts you, maybe Natalie, you can explain about how these things impact our whole community and not just the dogs.
Yeah, no, they do for sure. I mean, I think we are lucky because the ticks that we have here in Aruba, they don't really like humans.
Thank
so
goodness.
it's a different type of tick. No, and why am I saying this? Because we are noticing that we find more and more dogs with Lyme disease, or at least that we think they have Lyme disease.
Oh my gosh.
And Lyme disease is a zoonotic disease, a zoonosa. This means this is a disease that can go from humans to animals, but more often from animals to humans. So ringworm, yeast infection, is also a zoonotic infection. Heartworms, there are cases of heartworms going to humans.
Oh, wow.
So these are a lot of things that also we've tried to tell the government, especially. I don't want to go into this.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We don't have to.
Also for the health, you know, public health. It's not only because even there's another aspect. If people want to go jogging, if you want to go from your house, you want to go out of your house and go walking or jogging or cycling, or you know, even in my car, I have dogs running behind my car. And damaging my car, and I go to the owner, and they're like, yeah, I'm sorry, and this and that, and you know, so I think it's also for your own well-being and quality of life, but also for the pet or the animal itself. But even if you're not an animal lover, these things should already, you know, they affect you. If you are a sporty person and you like to jog, or you want to go mountain biking, a lot of people can't or are afraid to, or they get bitten or they fall because of the dogs that run out of the yards, you know, onto the street, and they run behind cyclists or people jogging. So a lot of people that do sports know this, but also cars. A lot of accidents are being caused. And often people try to not hit a car or not hit an animal, and then they go to the other side and there's this big accident, but actually the cause was an animal crossing the street. You know, so there are a lot of things that we can mention. We all have a lot of experience with different types of situations. So even if you're not an animal lover, which I hope you are, but,
same. Yeah, it impacts us all. I mean, I didn't know about ringworm until we got Betty. Betty is our cat, and we don't talk enough about Betty. She's such an awesome cat. That's our first pet, as you know. And I say our first pet is like partners. That before we, you know, when we just moved in together, before we were married, we were like, no, we didn't make a decision. I just saw a cat on the streets with other cats, and I just picked them all up, brought them to the office, and I was like, they need homes, and I'm taking one. And then my husband was like, oh my gosh. But anyways, I didn't know she was bald, or like parts of her were bald. So we took her home and we washed her up, and I was like, oh my gosh, maybe her hair.
Cuddle.
Yep. So we had ringworms for months. All of us had ringworms for months.
Yes.
But you know, and that's one of the moments where I really stood still and realized that, you know, how often can this happen when kids go outside and they play, and you see a little kitten or a puppy, and you know, you have the tendency to go and touch them because they're cute, and then they can bring something home. And if you have somebody at home who's immunocompromised, it becomes a bigger issue. So I never thought about it that way until we had that situation. And with ticks, when I lived in the US, Lyme disease is a big deal there because of the ears.
Yeah.
And I never knew that, you know, when I remember one time I came on vacation, I had a lot of rashes, and my doctor here, she was like, this kind of looks like Lyme disease, but we don't have that here. And I'm like, yeah, but I come from like the South, you know, they have Lyme disease over there. But to hear that is something that has started here in Aruba, it's a horrible disease to have, right?
It's very dangerous, and it's very costly disease as well for AZV. So that's something I often mention, because you don't cure from it. So if you know, you have a few weeks that when you find out, if you can link it with a tick bit, then often people know, but often people don't realize it. And then it just goes into your body, and it doesn't really make you sick often. And then after a few months, it comes up, and then a lot of doctors don't know until a few months or years. And now,
especially if you don't have the bullseye like mark.
Yeah, and the bullseye mark, I think it's only 60% of the cases.
Wow.
So often people don't know, and you can get a tick bit in your skull where you have hair, so you don't see the bullseye. So that you can have but again, the tick here is a different type of tick, so I don't want to make people scared and started throwing their animals on the street.
Oh my gosh, no, we're telling you to take better care. That's what we're saying.
Yes, you can prevent this by just, you know, getting them preventive anti-tick and flea medication. It's very easy. Especially the new products, they're very effective. So sometimes you don't even have to give it every month, even though it is registered for every month. But we see that
especially
even
if they live inside and stuff like that.
Exactly. So it depends on also the barrio, and if you have a lot of goats roaming or a lot of stray dogs, they also often have ticks, and then you might have more tick problem at your house. But the heartworms, it is very important to give every month. So every month you have to give a heart guard or something else to prevent the heartworm from becoming a problem. Yeah, this is transmitted by a mosquito. So often people say, well, my dogs are clean and, I don't have this problem. I said, no, we have mosquitoes everywhere, even in your bedroom. At night when you are asleep, you don't see it and your dog will get bitten by a mosquito. And then you can just get the heartworm, and often you don't notice until it's already very advanced. Exactly.
Oh, that's really sad. But please, people, if you choose to have a pet, and we did talk about this on Dog Day, and that's why I love the system with Sgt. Pepper's, really, it's at the beginning, people were saying like, oh, but it's so complicated. It's almost like not targeting for people here in Aruba to adopt. And I was like, maybe it's not that. Maybe we're just not meeting requirements,
I think that's sometimes it. Because if your yard is not closed, if there's no shade, if your dogs are not allowed to come in, your other dogs are not neutered or spayed, then we don't adopt. So I think it's very fair, and I think our adoption fee is also very fair because it includes everything. So because we want to make sure that the animals are completely vaccinated and will be spayed and chipped, so if something happens that they can be found. So I think if you are a good animal-loving family and you have a closed yard, we would love to adopt you. And we do. But but I think the whole problem in Aruba, we know that we have a problem. There's many houses with big properties who are simply not fenced, and it costs a lot of money to fence your yard. We all know that too. So, but like Natalie said, for me there are some basics here, and I think like you said too, it depends on where you live. Do you have a lot of plants in your yard? Then you maybe have to look more for ticks, depending on who you have living next to you, how many animals they have. But the heartworm preventive, please everybody buy that for your dog, because I think Jacqueline can agree with me. We test all our teen and adult dogs on heartworm, and I think we really can say that many of the 1.5 year plus dogs that have been living on the street, and then so you could say that they didn't get any preventive for at least a year, that many test positive for heartworm. And it's not only an expensive treatment, but it's also the injections that the dogs need to get are also painful and can give
a lot of risks. They can die or
So if I think giving heartworm preventive, it's not very expensive if you compare it to other costs you can get for your pets. But I think, for me personally,
for a few guilders. So it's not like the ones for ticks and fleas are a little bit more expensive. But the heartworms, depending on the weight of the dog, it varies between 3 to 5 to maybe 8 florins a month. So, I mean, it's like buying a beer or, a sandwich somewhere. So it's something I think everybody can miss. But I think overall, that I think is also the issue with adopting a dog from Sgt. Pepper, is that people have to realize when you adopt a dog or when you buy a dog or when you get a dog even as a present, because often that's how it goes, that somebody has puppies or they have kittens and they're offering them and they're so choo-choo and tutu and cute, and the kids usually from the house are the first ones that, they come in and they want and they're like, but you have to realize this is a commitment. Dogs can, depending on, like say our Kanuku dogs, they can become 12, 13, 14, sometimes even 15 years. This is a commitment. It's not something that you just, you get like a bicycle or like steps or something and you have it for 1 or 2 years or even a few months and, oh no, I don't like to play with it anymore. And you just discard it and leave it in the garden. It's a living animal and it comes with a price. So people always say, veterinarians are very expensive. costs of medication and things is very expensive. I mean, go to the hospital, even go to a vet elsewhere in the States or in Europe, and you can compare the prices, you know. So it is expensive, but that's why it's important for you to realize this, because your dog deserves, or your cat deserves, to be taken care of. And taking care of a pet is not only giving it water and food, which also can be expensive if you want to give something of a good quality. It's the same with us. If you go to, you know, you eat fast food every day, it's a lot more cheaper than going to, you know, a supermarket and buying fruits and vegetables. But yeah, that's what you need to have a healthy life. So with the pet, it's the same. And you need to give them its vaccination. So you have to make a calculation for yourself. You have to make a budget, the same as you would do if you want to give a party or if you want to go to carnival. Or then we are very able to do this. But when it comes to our pets, we it's an emotion, and I understand, because I have children too, and I have these emotions too. But you have to realize it's a commitment. It's not something for just like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially when they are like small and they're cute.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then a few weeks later, they start destroying your flip-flops and
Yeah.
your chairs,
Yeah.
and they
Everything.
jump at you.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
exactly. That's also very important, because that's usually the reason why they don't want them anymore, and they bring them then to or the afmaak, which I'm not able to say, but it's the centro di the control di cachorro, and or to the animal shelter, or to just throw them on the street.
Yep.
It's because it's not only money, so it's not only making sure they get their vaccinations, the heartworm that we discussed, preventive treatments for ticks and fleas, but it's also time. It's also taking time in the weekend, or even every day. A dog every day needs, especially a puppy, they need this attention. It's like a child. You need to invest. Especially in the beginning, you have to be strict, you have to be discipline them, you have to be consistent. It's the same with children, and then no, but it is. And then later, when they're bigger, you get the reward. But if now it's free for all, you don't have time for them. You're like you throw, you know, you give them something to eat, and you can love your dog, but that's you need to have money, a little bit of money, and time. To invest.
And I always tell people when they're like, oh my gosh, it's a puppy, it's so cute. I'm like, I don't like puppies. And it's because I think it's just a process that we need to go through so I can have the dog that I'm looking forward to have, because puppies are intense. And I always tell people, I'm like, you know, sometimes we're like, oh, it's almost Christmas and I saw this puppy, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, you don't know if that person wants to deal with that 1 year of being strict and being, you know, so it's also
not 1 year only.
No.
2 to 3 years before they turn normal.
Like ours. They're normal, we don't know what that is yet.
It's strange and crazy.
We still don't know what that is. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, it takes at least that, and you know, usually it's the smaller dogs that are given for gifts.
But it's not a gift.
No,
They are
it's
never a
not.
gift.
Exactly. And I think it's important. Even today, before Facebook went down, I saw a couple of posts on social media of people asking like, oh, where can I get a dog today? Where can I get a cat today? And I'm like, if you made that decision when you woke up this morning and went on social media and realized it's Animal Day and then decided, oh my gosh, I need a pet, then I hope, and I'm glad maybe, that social media went down and that you didn't get that dog and cat, and that you had some more time to think it through and truly go online and work it out to see if you can.
Yeah, well, you know, now we can Google everything. So you can even Google the costs of a pet.
Yep.
Monthly, and then you can just think if this is a wise decision. And also the time, and also something that we're seeing a lot more is that a lot of breed dogs, it's becoming very popular. I don't have anything against breeds. Obviously, I'm a veterinarian, so I love all types of dogs. But I do think you have to realize very much every breed has different specific traits. And also some specific problems due to the breeding process that they underwent for a lot of years. Right now we have a lot of French poodles that are very, very popular, and a lot of people don't realize that in this warm climate, all the dogs that have very round faces, we call them BOS dogs, brachycephal dogs. They have obstructive syndrome, so that's why they're like that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because actually their skull is so squashed in a smaller portion. It's round, but it wasn't supposed to be round. So all the structures from within, like the palatenmolle, which is your verhemelte. I don't know the word in English, but it's the soft spot behind your throat. It was made for the long snout of, let's say, a German Shepherd, and this is all like combined in this small head. The eyes are also still the same size for a skull of a German Shepherd. So we see so often that eyes are popping out, overheated because they go walk with them in linear park. These dogs are very, very specific. They need a specific type of environment. Huskies are very, very popular. Big, a lot of fur. It's so hot. I mean, we don't even have hair everywhere, and we're hot all of the time. We can sweat, so we can get rid of our warmth. Dogs cannot sweat. So these are a lot of things that it's all emotions, and I understand because, but you have to really educate yourself and really look into, because often people pay a lot of money, and then they end up with a dog that actually doesn't suit their
family's needs.
Yes.
Or the weather here,
and the weather, the environment in Aruba, and
you have to be willing to make those changes if you do. I mean, I always grew up with animals at home. My first pet, which was a cat, the day I was born. My parents' neighbors just gave my parents a cat, and it's like, that's for her, And I grew up with that cat. I traveled with that cat, and thank goodness my parents have always been pet lovers, so I grew up with that. But when I went to study abroad, I really decided not to have a pet because I know it takes a lot of work. And then, when I moved back to Aruba, I was like, okay, at some point I do want to have a pet. And my husband decided, we're going to get a husky. And he did a lot of research, and I kid you not, we put agreements on email, you are going to do this and I'm not going to do that. Yes, and it's serious, if we're going to do this, because I want to give the dog, whatever dog it is, right? It could have been a Labrador, it could have been a stray dog, whatever. I want to give the best life possible.
Yeah.
So, sometimes I get questions like, oh, so they live inside? And I'm like, have you seen it? Of course it has to live inside,
Yes,
It cannot handle outside.
No.
We take our 2 huskies every single day to my parents so they can swim, so they can exercise. And people are like, so you take the dogs every day there? And I'm like, yeah, because we don't have the time, because we have to work. My parents are at home, so they can give them the attention. So it's like children, literally,
so
right?
You are a responsible pet owner,
Yes.
and you've done the research necessary.
And we know, they're working dogs. That's what they are. So they need to work, they need to exercise. Otherwise, they're going to break things and chew on things and bite on people. And you know that too.
Yes.
But, it takes effort. And I do think that we should think about that. But, it's not just cats and dogs, and that's something that I want to ask about, because more and more we see all these fun videos on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and I am guilty of that, of wanting weird animals that I realized after doing some Google searches that I am incapable of keeping. So I didn't get them. But, Natalie, what else do we see in Aruba? Good things and bad things. What are good pets that you have seen that have turned out to be great pets? I have brought my fish to you. You know that. It died. So I'm not a good fish owner. Now I know that. I tried. And now I know that I'm not a good fish owner. I'm not going to get more fish, right? But what are other things that you see?
Look, all animals are good. Yeah,
Okay.
It's just you have to, again, educate yourself, and that you know that what an animal needs. Because every type of animal, and especially exotics, which is a group that's growing very rapidly in Aruba. Before, say, 10 years ago, I would almost only see dogs and cats and sometimes a bird. Or now we have a lot of rabbits, we have a lot of guinea pigs, ferrets, even hedgehogs,
Wow.
a lot of different type of birds. I mean, it's all very fun and beautiful, and there are a lot of people that really take very, very good care of them. But we also often see, pet owners with a turtle that they don't even know if it's like a morokoi or a turtle. Is it supposed to go in the water or on the land? And I'm like, where you buy it, I think also has a responsibility for instance, guinea pigs, they need vitamin C every day.
Okay.
So often we get guinea pigs that never received any any vitamin C, because people think it's in the food. Well, no, you need to give it extra because they cannot make it themselves. So there are a lot of different hedgehogs. There are so many examples, and I think before you buy something, you have to educate yourself. And some pets are not also very good pets, especially for kids. So people ask me, I want to get my child a hamster. Hamster is not, it's a nocturnal animal. Hamsters often are very grumpy because they don't want to play during the day. They want to sleep, so they are not good pets for kids.
Yet they're one of the most popular pets for kids.
Yes, because again, people don't really know this, and
they think it because it's tiny and it's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are, it's not the animal's fault. All the animals are good, and there are a lot of owners that really take very good care of them and go beyond, taking care of. But again, education is very important. And right now, no one can tell me, I did not know, because everything you can find online. Everything. Yeah. You just stick in whatever you are thinking of, getting or buying or whatever. And then a hedgehog is not a very, normal animal to have.
What is it?
An egeltje.
An egeltje?
Yeah. An egel,
Here on Aruba?
Yeah,
I've seen it too.
I've seen.
Yeah, and I have people that they really take very good care of it, but still, sometimes people don't know how they should be kept. They are on blankets, or I have a Moroccoy that lives inside. They need sunlight. They need they mean well. It's just like, I don't want them to get dirty, and they bathe them, but they get sick because they need specific requirements for their housing and for food. It's very
lighting,
they all have their own diet restrictions and necessities. So it's that's something that I really hope that people just educate. We educate ourselves we're on Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram and looking at
whatever
BS all day.
Yes.
And then please use those platforms also to educate yourself and to just really know, okay, what do I want to buy? Does it fit my lifestyle? Does it fit the time that I have? Is it okay for children? What should it eat? What should it not eat? Also dogs. Dogs are not supposed to eat grapes. Dogs are not supposed to eat raisins. I have people that don't know that. Chocolate, most of the time people know, but macadamia nuts is poison. So there are a lot of things, but everything you can find online. It's just you have to take the time and you have to feel the necessity and
to
the
be
responsibility.
Aware. So before we continue, if you want to share your pet's name, please do, so we can, look at what your pets are called. I love looking at pet names. But also that way we can pick winners. And after the live is done, because I don't know why, but apparently when we're live, you can't comment pictures. But I do want to see pet pictures too. Okay. So just so you all know, when we're done, please comment pet pictures and pet names. Okay. But yes. So that's very interesting to hear, like what you said, right? So animals are not bad, but not all animals make good pets, which is fine. They weren't all created to live with us, and that's okay. That's okay. I think we want to own everything, right? That's a very human nature thing. I don't know why, but we want to keep everything, and not everything needs to be kept. So pet food, that's something that you mentioned that I think is very important. Can you give us advice, please, on pet food? And to you guys as well, because when you pick up animals, I have seen dogs with like really bad bellies sometimes, because they're overfed, food that is not for them, so they can't really like digest it and stuff. What is something that maybe you have seen when you pick up animals, even if they're not like technically stray?
We pick up are on the bottom side of the
chain, right?
Yes. So almost all have problems with the blood, with the intestines. I noticed that good food works better than the cheaper food. They have a better stool.
Okay.
And
less too also.
Yeah.
Less too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but even my
I mean-
granddaughter looks at it and thinks, and say, "Oh, he pooped, and it's a good one."
Yeah.
So
Really?
yeah, you
Nice.
really have to
Okay.
look at it. What color? What?
Yeah, no, my
how
husband
to-
does that, yes.
Consistency. Yeah.
It looks,
That is really his job. He looks at the poop, yes.
yeah, it's very important. We always deworm them,
Uh-huh.
and we almost always have to start with antibiotics because they're all sick, either almost starving or just a little bit sick.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely it's a healthy puppy. Once.
Yeah.
In the last few, 2 years, I think.
That you found one that was like...
Yeah.
Healthy.
So
Could
meaning,
fly.
so meaning that the big belly, the big round belly,
Uh-huh.
that's usually from parasites.
Okay.
Worms.
When
Yeah.
we give the deworming,
Mhm.
they
It goes away.
you don't want to order Gianni's the same night.
Okay, understood. Oh my gosh. Okay, got it.
Look, and we are
Yes.
used to. That's how our WhatsApp looks. We get pictures.
Oh, wow.
Like my morning starts with pictures of
Of poop?
puppies. Like
Okay.
good poop, not good poop, and like Jacqueline's granddaughter.
Mhm.
Like we know the poop. With poop, you can see a lot of things.
Okay.
Like not only the dog itself.
Mhm.
What we see either the round belly. You see a very skinny body with the ribs. We see the skin that doesn't glow.
Yeah.
That says a
Uh-huh.
lot about the health of a dog as well.
Okay.
So, as example, when we get a mommy dog with their babies, especially when the babies get around 6-7 weeks, you see that the mommies have a very hard time. Because the puppies drink a lot and the mommies don't eat a lot to stay on their weight and their fur looks doff,
Yeah.
How do
Dull.
you say that?
Dull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
often-
especially with the dark color dog, we see them change in a few weeks. So if they
Wow.
get the medication against parasites and they start getting the good food, sometimes we add some vitamins. You see the mommy dog's fur change.
Mhm.
That's really nice to see, right? Like
Yeah.
for
The
us.
color.
The whole transformation.
Yeah.
That is so nice.
Before and after is
Yeah.
actually also what you have on the cars right now, which is a very nice incentive. The before
Yeah.
and after pictures of
Yeah.
dogs.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you saw it already, but I think 2 months ago, we were brainstorming about ways to create some awareness on the island.
Okay.
For and using little funds.
Mm-hmm.
So together with one of our volunteers who works at Zen Design, we've been designing magnets. And to show that
cars.
for cars, so big magnets to put on the side of your cars.
Uh-huh.
And we made
really
designs, the same design for 4 of the foundations here.
Okay.
So we use before and afters
After.
for cats and dogs.
Mm.
And what does it say? You know what it says?
Yeah.
Well, take care of our dogs
Uh-huh.
well, or take care of our cats well. And we also have 2 driving around now with all of the logos of 4 foundations, before and after. I think it was a house that 3 of the foundations all worked on.
Okay.
And the logo of Animal Care Clinic is on there too. So in this way, and I must say, I've been stopped several times. Even at Aruba Bank, Subway, doesn't
Yeah.
matter, but people stop you and ask something, and
It's very visual, and I think
Yeah.
that's
Nice.
works very well. You know, it's
Yes.
visual because you can see
Yeah.
really like the puppies that are like very thin and they almost have no hair, and they're
Mhm.
and then you see when they become like happy and healthy, and it's such
Yeah. And we had a few with mange from Luna, like before and after.
Okay.
I think we had a few dogs that we rescued together with the Creole Trappers. And we don't want to say that all animals on Aruba look like that.
No, of
but
course.
we want to show what good care can mean.
Yes.
And strangely enough, it's not even good care for months. It's sometimes good care for only a few weeks.
Yeah.
What makes the difference? And
Yeah.
especially with the mange dogs, that a lot of people think that
Mange
they're
is sarna.
dirty. Oh yeah, sarna.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like people think, it looks gross.
Mm-hmm.
Those dogs turned out
They
the
become
best.
beautiful.
Yeah, in a few weeks, and I think Natalie can explain maybe how that works. Maybe how a
Of
dog
course,
gets sarna
yes.
and.
Yeah, sarna, often people also think it's like a dirty disease, which is not. It has to do with the immune, the defense system of the dog. And a lot of stray dogs have mange, sarna, because they have a low defense system. Because often they have problems with tick disease, they have anemia, they have problems with the parasites, so they don't absorb their food well, they're very skinny. So these are dogs that are living under very bad situations and circumstances. They don't often have enough food, and even if they get food, it's not very good quality, and half of it goes to the worms in the intestines. Wow. So they have a lot of problems, and that's why
I made pasta for tonight. Great, but yes,
and that's why they get mange, they get sarna. And but this type of sarna, it's Demodex. That's the name of the parasite.
Okay.
And
the one that we have here in Aruba.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly. Sometimes we also have Sarcoptes, which is the one a lot of people are afraid of because it's very contagious. That's a zoonotic disease. Yeah, but most dogs that are on the street, most strays have Demodex, and it comes because of their low immune system, and it lives in the follicle of the hair. So that's also why the hair falls out, and you have patches of bald spots with crusts, and sometimes they itch a lot. Doesn't cause a lot of itch. Usually the itch comes from the infection they get. Besides that, but that with a little TLC, a little love and care, good food, deworming, treatment for the blood, you see within a few weeks. Usually it takes 3 weeks for the hairs to grow back. So usually within 3 to 4 weeks you can already see a big change. And with bathing and vitamins and and also if the dog is happy, because remember, a dog that is under stress, doesn't get good care, is living on the street, is afraid constantly, this affects the immune system as well. So if we take away all those factors, we see them change. It's beautiful. I love the magnets because it's so visual.
Well, I would like one.
There you go. I was hoping she would.
Yes, I mean, I'm totally up for that. Especially, now that we talked about this, and yes, I love awareness stuff, and some people are like a little bit about their cars. Like it has to be my car is completely scratched by dogs, but
the good thing it's a magnet, so you can
take
it off,
and
depending,
and it creates awareness. I love it. I totally love it.
Just take it off, and then when you're driving around, I think that's why it's so helpful for us, because most of the volunteers of the foundation, they drive around a lot. Either from a report.
Right.
I usually go from vet to vet, and so yes, you make a lot of kilometers, and so a lot of people see you.
Of course.
I think we have to put a kitten with ringworm.
Yeah.
Carolina's car.
Totally.
And after.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we have that.
We have many of them.
A few, yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, but that would be amazing. I'm serious. And any of you who are listening, if you're interested, should you contact Sergeant Pepper's, Creole Trappers?
Any Creole Trappers or Sergeant Pepper's, Luna Foundation, and Nine Lives are all four involved in this. So they can contact any of us.
Okay, so I mean, it's a magnet, so you can take it off anytime you want, right? When you wash your car and everything. If you want to have a day where you don't want to have it, you can just take it off for a little bit. But if you know that you're going to be driving around, put it on. I mean, that's awesome. I totally want one. But yes, so before we close off, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you think is really important and that we should address on this day? And from what I hear, we need to make a complete separate episode, and we will talk about this because I know some of you will ask why we didn't talk about the dog law, and I was asked that on Dog Day as well. I think it was that day, but it's a work in progress. So we hope that we can give more accurate information. Is that a good way of saying it? Yes? Okay. Soon, so once we're able to share a lot of that, I will make a special episode and then dissect the law, because I think a lot of people need that, right? We have a lot of laws that we don't necessarily understand, so I think it's good if we can have that moment. Oh, I have a question. How can people sign up to be volunteers for any of the organizations present today? Or maybe even you. Do you accept like teenagers?
Yes, I do.
That's important.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, have them shadow you.
Yeah, well, shadow me, but also shadow the assistants.
Yes.
Because the assistants do a lot of the work, of very important work. They take care of all the animals. But yes, we've had several that even have gone studying to become veterinarians now.
Nice. Okay.
Yes. So
I think children need that more often, and that's what I try to do with the kids that I take to because a lot of people are like, oh, I want a puppy, and
the kids loved it. My both daughters
Awesome.
went, and
Oh,
I think
yes,
every week, when are we going to go wash? I'm like, the whole week and the whole day. I work with dogs and cats.
Okay, Natalie, I promise you, I'm gonna send a message, okay, to all the
Drop you off
parents.
at Carolina's house, and she will take you.
That sounds like a plan. I will send a message out because I'm sure other parents are struggling with the same thing, and so you don't have to wait until next year, but maybe in December because then I have a week and a half off. So
The
I
girls
just
loved
wanted
it.
to say it. Maybe we can do like a special morning because of
Yes.
with the holidays.
Yes.
That's nice for kids.
exactly.
And a special walk. That's
Yes.
good. If people want to sign up with us, they can do it through social media.
Okay.
But for our normal volunteers, like the volunteers that take care of the dogs and cats, we do require people to be at least 18 years old.
Okay, that's good.
For the sake of our animals and for the people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
also
yeah.
insurance and everything. Yeah.
Especially because there's a lot of gates and fences, and there's quite some responsibility, I think.
Of
So-
course.
And sickness, you don't
and
want.
sickness that we don't want to move.
Mm-hmm.
So adults with teens we could welcome, but then the adult has to be there as well.
In
And
charge,
that's
of
always
course.
a little bit difficult. But
No, yeah.
please contact us if you want help, especially in the weekend too. So that's very welcome.
And we only need grown-up volunteers because
You
it
need
can
them to
be
drive.
No, it can be dangerous.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
okay.
On the street or when we go in
Right.
a canoe and you don't know how the dog will react.
Mhm.
You don't want that responsibility.
With
And
no,
we
of
don't
course.
need people in the weekend. We need people during the day because they are open
Mostly during
during the week.
Yes, but I mean, I'm sure that there are a lot of people who, not necessarily like work all day, or maybe even older people who are recently like on
Retired.
pension. Yeah, retired, and they they're still have a lot of energy and they wanna do something. I'm gonna tell my dad and
Give back.
And one important thing, what we always need are foster families.
Yeah.
yes,
So
Very important,
And
yeah.
that's a good way of volunteering, indeed.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I think that's the biggest
Yeah.
problem with
At this
trapping.
m- yeah. That's mostly we have bijvangst with
Extra catch.
Yeah.
That's
and like
Not planned?
No, not
Yes.
at all. I have
Yeah.
a small puppy at my house now, and I really would like a foster for a small puppy.
Yeah.
But we also have a young adult at their place.
Yeah.
He really needs somebody who knows how to handle dogs to become a nice and sweet dog that he in fact is, but he's now a little bit confused. And so we could if we find a foster, then they can take the responsibility. Not only them, also our
Other foundations,
it's really difficult.
Yeah, and I think all foundations have the same problem. And I think with us, it's mostly, that's what I just said to Jacqueline, if there's a foster, and because we don't mix litters, if there's one single puppy found, that is the only puppy at that litter, so at that house. So that makes it a little bit more difficult. So if it's 2 or 3 puppies that can go to one family, then it's better for all of us.
Yes.
So if there's any family who loves animals, who wants to help, learn them how to walk on a leash, get them ready for a home.
This is also a very nice way if you feel you want to have a puppy, but you don't want the commitment for a longer time. It's a very nice way to give back because it's so important for a puppy to be in a house with families, that they get used to children, they get used to walking on a leash, just how to behave as a normal dog, and especially if you have older dogs, this can be very helpful because they educate the dog as well, and usually it's not a lot of work. So it's, if there are families that want to do this, it's very,
How
very
can they sign up?
The same way,
Online?
I think, either channel through social media.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that that doesn't only count for us, but all the foundations.
Yes, Luna.
So if you like cats, if you like dogs, like Nightlife has a lot of cats. We have a lot of cats. New Life for Pass too. Luna is mostly looking always for people who want to foster adult dogs. I think finding fosters for adult dogs is the most difficult. Also for us as well. Well, I think for adult dogs, especially dogs who have lived on the street, it's even more important to learn like how to live in a yard, on a porch, in a home.
And to trust people again, and to feel safe, and it's very important. Yeah.
And also, I mean, I think it's also important. I had one of my physicians tell me once, and she told me, she was like, I don't ever adopt puppies. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, I don't like puppy phase, but also I like that, you know, adult dogs, like I can work with them better. So if you're one of those people, you know, there's a bunch of foundations that if you feel like maybe you don't necessarily have the patience to go through the puppy phase, but you do have like the time to work, you know, on less energetic, let's put it that way, especially with adult dogs. Some of them are like older, so they won't live as long, so it's a shorter commitment, but you also are able to provide them with the best rest of their lives. So I think that's a very beautiful thing, and I think there's a dog for everyone, right? A situation for adopting for everyone. That is something that in the future we would really want to do, is fostering, but we need our dogs to become older and calmer first.
If you can't adopt yourself, but you can foster
for
maybe
a while,
twice a year, that's also very helpful, because it's very simple how it works, because if dogs get adopted either here on Aruba or anywhere else, there's space for another dog. So fostering is a very important part, I think. It's not only the rescue, you can rescue a dog and get it healthy, but if nothing happens, then you're stuck.
Sometimes the rescue is the easiest part, because usually it's the process that comes after that they, as the foundations, really have to think about, because also for them, when they rescue a dog, it's a commitment. So the same as for a pet owner, when they take a pet, it's a commitment, but it's the same with the foundations. And sometimes they don't really ask for it or wish for it, but they go on a rescue, and then they find a whole litter of puppies, and then you're not going to leave them there. You know, so
So for any of you who are maybe considering to get a dog, but you're not totally sure, this can be a good step that I'm sure will let you know if you are indeed in a place in your life, right? Financially, but also time-wise, energy-wise, to take care of that dog. This might be a good way where you're not also giving back, but also teaching yourself your limits. I think that a lot of people need to, that self-awareness of realizing, like, am I truly capable of putting all this time and effort? So I think this is indeed a good way. And you can start small, okay? So you can start small, right? By volunteering, maybe on Sundays. Go on a walk with a dog, right? Realize,
dogs,
realize what that means, the process. And I love, you know, doing that with the kids, because it's not just walking, going to the beach, which is the fun part, but after we're doing, you know, all that fun part, we go back to Sandra. Yes, because that's also part of it, right? It's even if we like the fun part, there's also the other parts of responsibility that go with it. So these are way parents as well, right? Reach out and see if you can, you know, if your teenager is saying, I want to work as a veterinarian, have them shadow somebody, shadow a foundation, so they understand what that truly means. And
they learn a lot, because the foundations see a lot. They also know a lot. They have a lot of knowledge of diseases and things that should do. So
I think it's a good place to volunteer. And then, I mean, if you want to be a vet because you only want to see cute puppies and kittens, then, you know,
go work in a pet shop.
Yes. I mean,
no.
So start at one of the foundations where you see the nasty but also the beautiful of when you restore, you know, a dog or a cat, and then have them be adopted. I think that if you can find joy in that, then you would probably make a good vet or vet assistant. Natalie, I had one question that was for you specifically that we got on Instagram, which is people want to know what are the diseases that we see more in Aruba, and if there's anything that surprises you from that, like if anything is you know, standing out.
I think the most common one is the tick-borne disease. So those are there. We have most commonly 2 types of tick-borne diseases. They are family of Lyme, but it's a little microorganism that lives in the tick. And when the tick sucks blood from the dog, it transmits this microorganism. It's not really a bacteria, but just to make it easier, we call it a bacteria. I'm not going to call the names because they're too complicated. But then they give the dog the tick-borne disease. A lot of people talk of anemia, but anemia is just a symptom, and which can come from a lot of things, but often also the blood platelets are low. Heartworm disease is something that we see also very often, and every time more often than, let's say, 10 years ago. Parvovirus. Canine parvovirus is also something that we have the whole year round, but especially when it rains, we have a lot of puppies. So it's usually puppies between 6 to 4 months of age that are most vulnerable for it. But until 1 year of age, they can get it. Vaccination is the only thing that prevents it, and good hygiene. Not taking your pet everywhere, also very important, especially the puppies. You know, it's like a baby, you have to take care of it. Then mange, sarna is also something very common, yeast infections of the skin, and something we see very, very often is trauma. Trauma because of hit by cars, dogs that are owned, but they run in and out and they get hit by a car. Biting incidents, we call them bitten by dog, BC. Is also something very often, and usually it's a smaller dog that's not castrated or not sterilized that goes on the street and then encounters the gang of outside and is bitten to pieces, sometimes with lethal endings. So I think these are the most common things we see. And I would have to say that what surprises me most is maybe the last one, that still I have dogs that sometimes even the 3rd, 4th time come and we tell them, please castrate the dog, because that's the reason why he's going. He thinks he's like very big, and he's not big, because usually it's the smaller dogs have very big mouths.
Because and they're on this size.
Yes, they're yes, exactly. Grootheidswaanzin, we call it in Dutch, and that's and it's very frustrating if you've saved a dog a few times already, and intoxications is also something we see very often. Sapo, of course. I would almost recommend people not to leave their dogs outside, or at least go outside just before they go to bed, say around 11:30 usually. They think, oh wait, maybe he has to go do something, or walk your dog, or because that's when the sapo is most active. Or when people are watering their plants, they think, oh, it's nice, and that's also always a time when the sapo gets active, because they like water and they've had a warm day and then they get active. Early in the morning is also a time when the sapo is very active. So these are 3 periods of the day that you have to be very cautious if you have a big yard with a lot of plants in it, and you have dogs, okay? But also things that dogs can get, for instance, rat poisoning, or...
like from biting a rat, or you mean as in the poison that people use to...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, or things that people leave around. A lot of the intoxications happen around the house. It can be medication, it can be food, it can be drugs. So, yeah, all these types of things are things that are very common. People think they're not, but they are very common. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have to say, I do think the tick problem is getting better. That's something we see. I think it has to do also with the tick preventive medication that more and more people are buying.
Okay, awesome.
It used to be very normal that the clinic would be like crawling with ticks constantly, and now it happens sometimes when we get certain visitors. But I'm not going to mention any names.
Nope.
But before this would be a constant problem. Issue. That really on the consultation table, and you would see them crawl up the walls, and it's something that is getting a lot better. Good. So I'm very happy
to see that.
And I also want to stress it is getting better. I don't think we should all sound negative, but there's still too much work, and I say too much because a lot of people think it's a problem of Sgt. Pepper and it's a problem of Creole Trappers. It's not. It's Aruba's problem, and they're just good enough people to help us try to fix and get a solution. But it's the problem of the island, and we should all feel responsible for it. So,
Thank you so much. I think it's a very good moment to stand still and think about all of these things. And for most part, or I think all of them, it kind of is in our hands to prevent these diseases, right? I mean, everything that I heard, they either have to be like vaccinated or, make sure that your dog doesn't roam freely so they don't get into like
but
those big fights.
accidents are in small places, in a small corner, so it can always happen.
Of
But
course.
just be aware that this is a risk,
That you can minimize that risk by
Yes.
putting in the work. So thank you so much for that. Is there anything else that you want to share, Dayenne, that maybe you want to make people aware of, or something that you guys do that you think is important for others to know about?
I think what Natalie just said too, and you as well, is that the fact that together, all the people on the island, we can make a lot of changes already. If everybody would take a little bit of responsibility, we often post pets are not disposable, and they aren't. They aren't your empty milk carton that you throw in the trash. If they destroy something, if they get in the teen phase, you should think about getting them neutered. If the female dog is almost reaching the age to get in heat, get her spayed. All those little things like providing water, food, going to the vet if the animal is sick, just like what you would do when you would feel sick yourself, or your kids are feeling sick, or your mom or your grandma. I think if we would all like do a little more in that regard, that the island would be a much better place for the animals in a few years. So yeah, awareness, education, communication. I think in that regard we can reach a lot of things together.
I am sure of that.
And some people really think that the female dog needs one nest. It does not. It will not get older because of it. You have more chance that they get that cancer that is contagious. So why would you like to do that? She looks more ugly afterwards.
Yeah. I'm
In
a
your
mother too.
opinion,
Thank
that's
you,
fine.
Jacqueline.
In my opinion. But it's not necessary for the dog to be a good dog
No.
to get a nest. It's
Yes.
really not necessary.
And the
None
same
of
with
my
the
dogs
male.
got that.
And the
Same
same
with
with
the
the male,
male.
Yeah.
A male can still protect your house from a burglar when he's neutered. That's
Better, because if he has to choose between your house and a female,
yes.
that is
Exactly.
so far, he will choose the
Yeah.
female. He
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
not protect
Did you hear
your
that,
house.
Dad? Did you hear that? I'm just kidding. No, but I thank you so much, and I think these are very important points. Again, I hope that we were able to motivate you, to do small changes in your own surrounding. If you're not a pet owner and maybe you're thinking, there are a bunch of organizations here in Aruba, not just the ones that are present here today, but there are others that are doing amazing work. Reach out. They all need help some way, somehow. I know that a lot of us are busy, so you don't have to, if you can't do something like go every Tuesday and Thursdays, if you can help out with a walk on Saturdays once a month, if you, have older dogs and want to see if you can give it a companion, foster a dog, right? And just help out. And I think even by, making sure that your pets at home are fine, talk to your neighbors. I know it's sometimes uncomfortable because I've been there where you try to make somebody aware. Just do what you can. And, we're not in control of others, but at least we can try. So I am asking you today to try. If you choose to volunteer after this episode, please show me pictures. I would love that. And Dayenne and Natalie, I promise you, I will plan something in December and we will invite. I will let you know. We will invite your beautiful daughters, but also other children. So please stay pending. I love doing this because it's fun, but also because it's a very good moment to show children that owning pets is a little bit more than just having fun. So I hope that you stay tuned and we will do a fun walk and volunteer day. Okay. So we will plan this after today. We'll put it on the agenda and maybe we can do something fun for the organizations as well. Thank you so much for coming and sharing about the work that you do. I hope that we learn more. Give them a follow on Instagram, on Facebook. Stay pending of their activities, their fundraisers. That's also something you can do if you feel like, okay, I don't like pets like that and I don't want to go work with, but you have like 10 florins to spare every month. Donate, right? Because like what we just said, once we fix these issues, it will be better for everyone living in this community. So do what you can, please. Also, remember to share cute pet pictures and pet names, because I am excited. I just saw one that is called Tobias, and I love it. Tobias. He has a nickname. It's Toby, but I love Tobias. So please keep sharing the names, and thank you so much. I hope that after today, social media is sort of back on so we can share this episode so that more people can see it, comment, and just educate yourselves. And share it with people around you if they need a nudge. Please. Ladies, anything else?
Nope.
Thank you.
Only advice, never argue with neighbors. You have to live next to them.
Just ask them nicely, right?
No, let somebody else do that.
But I tried. Oh, okay.
do it, yes.
Okay. Because I tried calling,
No.
I called the vet once, and I'm like, so this dog. And they're like, there's nothing we can do. And I'm like,
No.
And they're like, maybe you should go talk to them. And then I tried the talking, like, hi, I noticed his eye. And then they were like, yeah, he was born like that.
No, you have to be careful. You have
Yes,
to live
right?
next to them. Yes.
Okay. So don't argue.
No,
Don't
never.
argue. Don't argue. I will do my best. I'm just kidding. I have been living there for 4 years and I haven't argued. But yes. Thank you so much. This was Sincerely Carolina again. Thank you to my sponsors. I love it. We are growing. I didn't expect this. So I'm really happy to be part of Sopi Mix for a couple months now. This started in my living room as an awareness moment, and I just went on Instagram and talked, so I'm happy to see that it has grown, that I have amazing guests in a studio and sponsors. So thank you for supporting me and wanting to listen to me trying to educate all of us, myself included, but I really want Aruba to become a better place, and I know that we can do it if we do it together. So thank you. Remember, now, since we have nice sponsors, we have nice giveaways, so stay tuned. Thank you so much. Happy week. And again, cuddle your pets tonight a little extra because they deserve it. Bye. Hi, welcome to Sincerely Carolina. Thank you so much for tuning in. Are you excited? Are you ready to get motivated, educated, and hopefully have some changes in your daily life? Well, you are at the right place. I am Carolina. I will be your host of this podcast, and this podcast is available thanks to our amazing sponsors:
Lindy Boutique, Proframe, Always, Gelatissimo, Paper Sisters, and Aveeno.
Thank you so much.